Pokemon Scarlet and Violet are the best games for shiny hunting. I mean, look at this shiny Iron Hands, this shiny Lapras, or these other shiny Pokemon. But people say shiny Pokemon are way too easy to obtain in these games. They're talking about the post-game, right? When you unlock Herba, Mystica, and Sparkle Power 3 sandwiches? Well, let's put that to the test. I'm going to use every trick in the book to build a full team of shiny Pokemon, with some extras, and beat Pokemon Violet with only shiny Pokemon. We start off walking down the stairs and greet our mom good morning. The doorbell rings and it's the headmaster of our new school that just barges into our house. He tells us it's time to pick our starter Pokemon, so I grab my hat and backpack and head outside. In Scarlet and Violet, the starter Pokemon are shiny locked, and it just so happens to be Sprigatito Community Day in Pokemon Go, but it's super cold outside, so I really only played for about an hour. I did end up finding the shiny Sprigatito, which I accidentally deleted the video of catching it, but after transferring it to Violet, we are ready to start our adventure. We head to the gate of Metsagosa, defeat Nemona, head inside the city. Inside we meet this girl who's getting bullied by two people wearing a weird helmet. Nemona gives us their terror orb when we defeat the trainers. I'm sure the stars on their head don't mean anything. A few days pass and Director Clavel makes an announcement that we're going to begin our treasure hunt, which means all the kids run around the island unsupervised. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but we leave the school and meet up with Nemona, who tells us we need to complete the gym challenge. Arvin then comes out. We met him earlier where I beat him in a battle, and he says we should take on the Titan Pokemon instead. Don't worry, we'll do both, probably. But before we do that, I kind of want another shiny since the first gym is a bug type, which Sprigatito is pretty weak to. The best way to get early shiny Pokemon are outbreaks, but apparently I didn't understand how these worked at the beginning because I failed both a Houndour outbreak and a Happiny outbreak. I evolved Sprigatito into Floragato, so maybe we can beat the first gym leader, Katie, with our Floragato? I said maybe, so I guess a loss is okay. Well, here's the first time that we cheat. I started this challenge where the boosted Citadel, Carbink, and Fracture outbreaks were still on, so after knocking out 60 of these Citadel, I found our first new shiny team member. This time we actually defeat Gym Leader Katie, earning our first gym badge. This is when I decided we should get a new shiny before every badge in the game. Since we already have our second shiny though, I head straight to the first Titan encounter in the game, Cloth. Being a rock type, Floragato takes it out with ease, and I guess Arvin helped a little bit. Arvin then brings us inside the cave and gives us a sandwich using Herba Mystica. We feed it to Miraidon, which powers it up with a speed boost. Another badge down, time for another shiny. This is where I start to learn I might be doing outbreaks wrong. I spent 2 hours checking this Lechonk outbreak with no luck. I then moved to a Fido outbreak outside the first gym, and after 8 hours of failing to find the shiny, I decided to use my ace in the hole, Sparkle Power 1 sandwiches. One thing people don't realize is you can actually access the Academy Special Meal in the Blueberry Academy from the beginning of the game if you're super careful. We head back to the school and meet up with Briar, who's going to supervise us on a field trip to Kitakami. Once we arrive, we get introduced to Carmine and her brother Kieran. We defeat Carmine in a battle, sleep overnight in the community center, learn we have to team up with Kieran for a school project, and defeat him in a battle. After we get a call saying we've been chosen to be an exchange student to the Blueberry Academy. Before we leave though, we might as well get a shiny Carbink while we're here. I find an outbreak, knock out what I thought was 60 of them at the time, and find the shiny beautiful Carbink. Probably one of the best shiny changes. Cool, so now we head back to the school, meet up with the president of the Blueberry Academy, and make our way there. After arriving at the Blueberry Academy, we lose a double battle because they're using level 60 plus Pokemon, and well, I'm probably not supposed to be here yet anyways, so I don't care. We then have to attend a class in the terrarium where we catch an Alolan Pokemon. The issue is they are level 60 plus, and again, I'm not. I didn't tell you this, but we picked up some quick balls on the way here so we can save and pray to catch this Alolan Grimer. 1 shake, 2 shakes, there we go. We can report back showing our overleveled catch, and this gives us access to BBQs and BP. Now with the Academy Special giving us Sparkle Power 1, this should help a ton. Before we test it out though, let's take on the Grass Gym badge. Because this gym is so easy, I don't even know the leader's name. So we'll call him Bob. Well, Bob learned that a Terra Ice Subtottle should be his mortal enemy and give us our second gym badge. Now let's test out that Academy Special. We head back to the Fido outbreak, and I think I maybe miscounted, so I knock out a few more till we see the message that there aren't many left. That must have done it because right after I did that, I found my shiny Fido. Checking out the map, I think we should take on the Bombardier Titan next. Dodging the rocks to make it up the hill, take out the Titan with a little help from Arvin, and Arvin tells us the reason he's going on this hunt is he read that if he feeds all of the Herba Mystica to his broken Mastiff, it could heal. We have to help him now, no questions asked. Moving on, I got myself another Academy Special and started working on this Knackley outbreak. I've never used it before, but I'm a huge fan of the Salt Cure move that Garganacl uses, and it has a pretty great, easily spotted shiny. After about 20 minutes, here's our orange boy. Moving to Levincia, before we can challenge the gym, we have to defeat Nemona. With that done, we defeat the streamer gym leader, earning another badge. Heading to the next badge, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to hunt in East Providence Area 3, so I went back to the terrarium to get more BP when this shiny Geodude appeared. I guess I'll take it if I can catch it. There we go. I also found this Rookidee outbreak, so another Academy special, and about 10 minutes later, the shiny Rookidee popped up. I didn't want to waste the rest of the Sparkle power, so I decided to run around the Poco Path, and right as the timer ran out, we found the shiny Lechonk. Heading back to East Providence Area 3, this full odds shiny Qfin appeared. This was like 2 minutes after the Lechonk, so I was freaking out. That's 4 more tasks we can complete. Right away, we took down the Earthworm Titan, watched Maschiff get a little stronger. Next up, let's try and take on the Water Gym. When we arrive, Kofu is late for something, but forgets his wallet at the gym, so our challenge is to follow him to Port Miranda and give it to him. On the way, the shiny Cyclizar runs by. My reflexes are too slow though, and it gets stuck in this spot where I can't catch it. I spent 45 minutes trying to get this guy unstuck, but eventually I had to give up. Rip Cyclizar 2025. Anyways, I give Kofu his wallet, win an auction, and absolutely destroy Kofu with our Grass Terra Florigato. After the battle, Lechonk evolves into Oikalone. Honestly, I wish I didn't evolve it because this shiny got worse. Oh yeah, and at some point Fido evolved into Dashbun. Rookidee evolved into Corvisquire, and Knackley evolved into Knacklestack. At this point, Florigato is 1 level away from evolving, so let's finally see that shiny Masquerada. Not gonna lie, kinda disappointed in this shiny. I also switched in Qfint for the next gym and evolved in Caparajah. I didn't like this guy before this playthrough, but I have a newfound respect for it. Medali's gym leader is a fan favorite for being the most boring and lame character ever in Pokemon, Larry. I defeat Larry as easily as I have every other gym leader so far, but I feel like it's not going to be the last time we see him. Come to think of it, I feel like I'm forgetting something else as well. Oh well, it must not be that important. Shocker, Nemona wants us to battle again. Anyways, before we head to the next gym, I evolved Knacklestack into Garganacl, and Corvisquire into Corviknight. Now we head to Montevera to take on the ghost gym leader Rhyme. She was a bit harder, but we did sneak out the win with our newly evolved Pokemon. For our next shiny, we're going to go back to our roots. It was Mega Gallade Raid Day in Pokemon Go, so I figured why not transfer over one of the shinies I caught. I ended up with like 4 or 5 after 24 raids. Is this cheating? Maybe, but I spent IRL money on it, so I don't think that's cheating. Alright, back to the desert, we go to take on the Iron Treads Titan. After feeding the sandwich to Miraidon and watching Maschiff lay there, I spent some time running around picking up items. I tried to find a shiny Tropius, which I failed. Then I remember near the Earthworm Titan spot there's a cool cave, so I get another Academy special and head to the cave. In this cave, you need to send out a Pokemon auto battle and stand in a specific spot, and Pokemon will continually get pushed out of the wall. If you do this for long enough, you're bound to find a shiny Pokemon spawn like this shiny Bagon. Another shiny Pokemon means another gym badge. Surprise, surprise, Nemona's waiting for us before we can battle the gym. Anyways, we play Simon Says with the gym leader. In the gym battle, Masquerada being a dark type makes quick work of her team. We find ourselves having to find yet another shiny. For our next shiny hunt, I try a Belly Bolt Outbreak because look how good this shiny is. But I end up deciding on a Sylveon Outbreak. Another great shiny. I've gotten pretty good at outbreaks through this video, and hey, that was super fast. Here's our shiny Sylveon. Now we can head back to the mountains and take on the 8th gym leader, Grusha. She's an ice-type gym leader, which Caparajah and Garganacl make quick work of her team. With all 8 gym badges, it's time for us to take on the Elite Four. Before we do that though, we need to finish evolving out our team. I found a Chansey Outbreak, and we evolved Shelgon into Salamence. Now we can hyper train our team and fight the Elite Four. A test with facts about the game. Okay, now we can take on the Elite Four with Masquerada taking out Rika's ground team. Satitle evolved into Satitan. Next up, Elite Four Poppy, who gets defeated by Satitan's ice moves. Larry walks out and gets destroyed by his Flamigo knocking itself out with Brave Bird. Finally, we defeat Hassel with Garganacl Salt Cure. I'm not even going to talk about the La Primera fight just because it's a joke. Now, for the real champion battle, it's time to take out Nemona for the last time. Our Grass Terra Masquerada takes out Nemona's Lycanroc with Flower Trick. Satitan takes out Goodra with Ice Spinner. Garganacl takes out Palmont with Earthquake. Masquerada takes out Earthworm with a Low Kick. Dunsparce with Flower Trick, and finishes out the battle taking out Quaquaville with a crit Flower Trick. We wake up the next morning after taking down Nemona and becoming champion. Heading back to the Savannah biome to find another shiny, we have these boosted fracture outbreaks, so I guess that's our next hunt. After knocking out a bunch of them, we find this shiny guy. He looks so good. Now we can take on our final Titan, Tatsugiri. This one is so cool because once you defeat it, it gets swallowed up by a Dondozo and you have to fight it again. With all the Titans defeated, Arven wants to challenge us back at the lighthouse where we first met. Arven isn't as hard as Nemono, so we take him out pretty easily, which brings us to the end of the Path of Legends. Now, because I didn't forget about anything else, we can finally head to Area 0. We head to the Zero Gate, and inside we find Arven, Nemona, and that girl Penny that we met at the beginning of the game. I guess we're friends. We hop on the back of Miraidon and head our way down. Wow, Area 0 looks just as amazing as it did the first time I saw it. Anyone who says this game can't look good, I don't know what to say to those people. Outside Research Station 1, we take out a Glamora, press the button inside. We defeat Iron Bundle outside Research Station 2, press the button. Defeat Iron Treads outside Research Station 3, press the button. Finally press the button inside Research Station 4, which unlocks the lab at the bottom of Area 0. We all know how this goes. Professor Turo in the lab turns out to be a robot and he tries to stop us from shutting down the time machine. We defeat Professor Turo without much difficulty, and now we can move on to the DLCs. Well, before we do that, I have a super cool shiny to catch next. I started this journey on the last day the shiny Rayquaza Terra raids were available, and since I haven't connected to the internet since, we can still challenge it. This is why Sylveon was so important. This battle ended up not being as hard as I thought it would be. With Calm Mind, Moonblast, and Draining Kiss, we were able to catch probably the strongest shiny Pokemon in the game in this beautiful luxury ball. On a side note, I also found another shiny Sotodle. Back in Kitakami, we can continue our adventure with Kieran. So long ago, we were tasked with visiting the 3 signboards. Heading up past the apple trees, we meet up with Kieran and the board tells us the start of the story and how the loyal trio was bullying this poor ogre Pokemon. After taking a selfie, it's time to hunt out our next shiny Pokemon. Since we beat the game and unlocked 5-star raids, we now have access to Herba Mystica, so I head to the Paradise Barrens and make a Dragon Encounter and Sparkle Power 3 sandwich. Our target is Jangmo-o. This guy's shiny looks super cool with the pink and yellow, I just have to find one. And here it is. Since it's already a high level, I immediately evolve our Jangmo-o into Hawk-Mow-o, and then our Hawk-Mow-o into Ko-Mow-o. Say that 10 times fast. With that detour out of the way, I make our way to Kitakami Hall where we meet up with Kieran in the next sign. Take another selfie after reading how bad the ogre was treated. Kieran then wants to show us where the ogre supposedly lives, but I have a better idea. Another cool shiny that was added to the DLC is Slugma. Don't say it. Well, actually, more importantly, Macargo has a great shiny, so let's try and find one. Even with our famous Sparkle Power 3 sandwiches, it took us about 2 hours and 4 sandwiches for this red slug to be silver. Heading back up the mountain, Kieran shows us where the ogre supposedly lives and foolishly challenges us to a battle, which he loses. He then tells us about the festival that's going on at Kitakami Hall. We meet up with Carmen and their grandparents, go to the festival, find the ogre who drops the mask, and then Carmen tells us to lie to Kieran, saying we didn't see the ogre. That's not going to cause drama. In the morning, Carmen shows the mask to her grandfather, who tells us the ogre isn't actually the bad guy in the story, and the loyal trio were bullies to it. But no one in the town believes it. This sounds like a whole lot of not shiny Pokemon drama, so since I don't care about this, I decided to go look for our first team upgrade, Shiny Coughing. Now this might be cheating, again, but I don't want a Kanto Wheezing, so I swapped it over to my Bug-Only Sword playthrough save, which you totally should check out that video after this one, and evolved our Green Boy into a Brown Boy, I guess? This thing will be very helpful in the Blueberry Academy. While we're on a roll, I decided to head over to the woods so that we can get our second part of our team upgrade. With a ground encounter and Sparkle Power 3 sandwich, after about 10 minutes of searching, we find our shiny Toadscool. This guy is so cool, but I love the evolution way more. Well, let's head back to the Paradise Barrens, meet up with our friend, Kieran. Why is he mad at us? Oh no, does he know we lied? Well, he wants to battle, which ends the same way as the other times he's tried. Yep, he knows we lied. In the morning, we head back to their grandparents' house where we are told we have to go to the Crystal Pool to help fix the ogre's mask. At the Crystal Pool, we get ambushed by a Melodic, find the Crystal Cluster to give to Grandpa, and chase Kieran to the graves of the loyal trio. He gets mad and punches the grave, which revives the loyal trio. Didn't see that coming. At this point, he realizes he messed up. We rush over to the festival to try and catch the loyal trio, where the caretaker tells us they made their way up to Oni Mountain. Scared for the ogre, we rush to the ogre's den and try and scare them off. Kieran apologizes and we tell Ogerpon that we will defeat them. Back in Masui Town, we talk to the townsfolk to find out where the loyal trio is, but before we can fight them, we need to find some more shiny Pokemon. So when we try and find our next shiny Pokemon hunt, we head to the Paradise Barrens to take on Okidogi, and wow, there's our shiny Saintslash. That's awesome. Thankfully, our shiny Rayquaza takes out the Okidogi with ease. Then we head over to Munkidori and take it out right away with Earthquake after Earthquake. Thank you, Shiny Gargantual. Last but not least, we have Pheasantipity, and I think I messed up on my count of shinies, but we just go straight and take out Pheasantipity, no problem. We then bring Ogerpon back to Masui Town, where the townsfolk apologize and accept Ogerpon. The three of us then escort Ogerpon back to its cave. Once we arrive, Kieran wants to battle to see who gets to be Ogerpon's real friend. Rayquaza takes out Kieran's Shiftry, takes down his Poliwrath, takes down his Dipplin, Masquerada takes out Probopass, Rayquaza then comes back out to take out Yanmega, and to end the battle, Rayquaza takes out Gliscor. After defeating Kieran, he goes crazy and we can finally catch Ogerpon. We defeat Ogerpon's different masks form with the red mask, blue mask, rock mask, and green mask so we can catch it in a luxury ball. The next morning we wake up in the community center and meet up with Carmen, who we defeat in one last battle before we say our goodbyes and head back to Paldea. Now normally this is where we would get the call telling us we won an exchange trip to the Blueberry Academy, but we've already been there to get our Sparkle Power 1 Academy specials. This time though, we have a team that's ready. To take on the strong Pokemon in the terrarium, my main combo is after evolving Toedscool into Toedscroll, we use it to spore our opponents and then use Galarian Weezing to knock them out. Back in the terrarium, we take care of some story bits, meet up with Carmen, defeat her in a battle, find Kieran who's bullying some random student, get introduced to Drayton, meet Drayton in the cafeteria, get approval to join the BB League, sign up for the BB League, and now we can start the Indigo Disc DLC. Before we fight in the BB League, though, we need to get another shiny Pokemon. In the Savannah biome, I make a Fire Encounter and Sparkle Power 3 sandwich. I run around to find a shiny Magmar to add to our team, but instead I find this shiny Litleo. Being the greatest shiny hunter to ever live, I still have time left on my sandwich where not even 5 minutes later I find the shiny Magby too. That would be awesome to evolve into my shiny Magmortar if I didn't also find the shiny Magmar I wanted. With our new shiny fire type, we can go take on the BB League member Crispy, who we beat pretty easily with Toedscruel being our MVP. Up next in the coastal biome, where after making a Sparkle and Encounter Power 3 fairy sandwich, we can get a shiny Cottony. After playing a bit of online competitive, I really like using Whimsicott with Tailwind, so that's exactly what we're going to be evolving Cottony into. Look at this ghost-looking shiny Whimsicott. Lacey gave us some issues with her fairy types, but we end up winning. At this point, I have 2 extra shiny Pokemon, but I wanted to try for another. I failed to find the shiny Shieldon, a shiny Scizor, and eventually just decide to take on Amories in the Canyon biome. We fly through some hoops and take her down. That just leaves Drayton, who says we need to use only Pokemon caught in the terrarium. It just so happens that one of the greatest shiny Pokemon in the game is located in the polar biome. So I make a Ice Sparkle and Encounter Power 3 sandwich. It wasn't the one we were looking for, but the shiny Dugong is good enough. After beating the trainers with our terrarium team, we use our real team to take down Drayton. Kieran is our final boss, and honestly, he isn't as hard as some of the others. It might be because I'm level 100, but let's ignore that right now. We take him down, and it's time to embarrass him one more time. Miss Pryor invites us into a classroom where we are told it's time to go below the time machine in Area 0. We go there and end up taking down Pokemon after Pokemon that are this weird stellar type until we finally find the treasure we're looking for. At the end of the tunnel, our group finds the legendary Pokemon Terrapagos. Kieran catches it in a Master Ball and then challenges us to a battle. We take him down, but when he tries to terrasilize Terrapagos, it goes crazy. Kieran tries to bring it back into the ball, but the ball breaks and we have to save the day. We take it down, and we capture it. We now have 2 legendary Pokemon to Kieran's 0. Well, 3 if you count Rayquaza. Kieran realizes he was being a jerk, and this would have been the end, but there was a surprise 3rd DLC. Back in Kitakami, we interact with this Mochi on the item stand, which mysteriously disappears. We then get a call from Arvin, who says that we should hang out since it's been a while. We meet up with him, Nimona, and Penny at her house. We talk for a bit, then get a letter from Kieran, who invites us all back to Kitakami to apologize for being a jerk. Not being one to give up an adventure, we fly to Kitakami and meet up with Kieran. Nimona freaks him out right away for wanting to battle him. Kieran and Nimona end up battling, and even Nimona destroys him. After the battle, Carmine appears, but something isn't right. Her eyes are purple, she starts screaming and dancing about Mochi. We bring Carmine back to the grandparents' house. We then head to the community center, find the remote for the TV, and notice Nimona's disappeared. Kieran and I go out and search for her, where we find 2 of the villagers who are crazed about this Mochi. We defeat them and see Nimona heading up to the shrine. We follow her up the hill and run into Kieran's grandparents, who after eating some mochi go crazy and have to be defeated by us. Arvin then calls us and tells us they're being attacked. We run back down the mountain so we can save them and get our first encounter with Petrant. It shoots mochi at us, but thankfully Kieran and I dodge it. Unfortunately, Penny and Arvin are not so lucky. After defeating Penny and Arvin, Kieran chases Petrant up to the grave of the Loyal 3. Of course we follow, and of course Petrant took over Nimona. I think even if she wasn't being mind controlled, she'd still make us battle her. We defeat Nimona, capture Petrant, and the day is saved. We have successfully beaten Pokemon Violet with only shiny Pokemon. This video took a long time to make, and I would really appreciate if you leave a comment letting me know what you think. And if you like this video, why not check out this video on screen as well?